Greetings hobbyists, this is Arsene Zavul, and in this video we're going to have a look at Blender's new asset library and how you can use it to save some time. So the first thing you need to be aware of is that the asset browser is only available in Blender 3 and upwards, so if you've not upgraded to Blender 3 at this point, you will need to do that before you can access this tool. So as this is a fairly new tool, I haven't had a full opportunity to take advantage of it yet, but in front of you can see some objects that I use fairly regularly. I've got some spheres of various sizes which are my commonly used sizes for rivets when I attach them to models, and behind those we've got some various things that I quite often use for creating cables using Cable Rater. I've got something that will create a ribbed cable effect, I've got something that creates a multi-cable with 4 cables attached together, and the same with 5, and a connector that's relatively simple that I often use. And having to redesign these each time or find a file that they're in and then copy and paste them onto the new file, it takes time and it's slightly annoying, and this is where the asset browser is going to hopefully fix that and make this much easier to do. Now before we begin any further, there's a couple of things I've set up that are quite important for this. The first is that I've named each of these items something that's going to be useful for me. So I've got the sizes for the rivets, because the sizes are probably the most important aspect of those, otherwise they are just spheres. And then I've done the same for the different cable types, and the connector being relatively simplistic. That's probably the most simple connector type that I use. And that's going to make it much easier to identify our assets once we've got the asset browser open. The other thing that I need to do is make sure that I've got the place where these assets are going to be saved ready. So if you go to Edit, Preferences, and then this bottom section, File Paths, you've got your user library and you've got where this is going to be saved, and you can click on the file symbol here to be able to set that to wherever you want. So I've created a file called Blender Assets that I'm going to be saving these into. And that's very important for making sure that these become available in other files that you use. So just how do we get this working? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to select all these objects. And then over here in our overview window, we need to right click and I need to select the mark as asset option. And what this will do is set these all up as assets, and you can see that has changed the symbol here to show that this is an asset. And at the moment that means that I can make multiple copies of these really quickly. So to open the asset browser, if you go to the corner of any point on your screen, so we've got here, 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 and here, you'll see that the mouse changes into a cross icon, and if you click and pull out, you'll get another window. Just going to press N to get rid of the menu at the side, and we can change what's going to be here. Now, one thing before I go any further is this, once you've got it open, you can't actually close it just by dragging to the side, which is something that people often have problems with. What you do to close these windows is you move your mouse to the central partition, right click, and you click join areas, and then you can select, so you can go either that way or that way, which window you want to get rid of. So it is quite easy to get rid of those. Next, to bring up our asset browser, we come to this icon in the top, which is the editor type. Click on that and we can go to asset browser. And you'll see here now I've got all of my assets nicely labeled, and this is where having those clear names is really important. We do have a picture of each one, but that's really useful. But at the moment, this is only available in the current file. If I go to user library, there's nothing here, and that's what you're going to see if you're in a different file. So at the moment, we've only got this for this one file if I want to make any copies of something, and that's not particularly useful. So what I need to do is go to File, Save As, navigate to my Blender Asset folder, and save this. So I'm just going to call this Detail Assets. And once I've saved this, this will now be available in my user library, and you can see that they're all here. And what this means is if I now open a new Blender file, I can do exactly the same thing, pull that out to the side, go to my asset browser. Just as a note, if you press Shift F1 twice, you'll get the asset browser come up a little bit more quickly, and you'll notice there's nothing in the current file here, but if I go to user library, I've got all of those available. So I've got each of those assets. I'm going to just drag those into my file to use them. I'm going to talk about that slightly more in a second. So let's go back to our original file. We're going to have a look at some things that's quite useful to do this, mostly in terms of navigation to begin with, and then we'll talk about bringing these files in and some tricks that you need to be aware of. So at the moment, these are all just saved as they are, and at the moment I don't have a lot of different things here, but this could get messy at the point where I've got lots of different objects. For example, I'm definitely going to bring in some of the basic filigree shapes that we were looking at in our last video. There's a link in the description if you want to have a look at that. And that means this can get very, very cluttered. So what I want to do is actually divide these up. So what I'm going to do from all is I'm going to click plus, and that gives me a new catalogue. What I can do is I can name that, for example, rivets, and then if I go back to my all, I can select my 4 rivets and simply drag those into the rivets group. And you'll see they stay here for the all, so don't worry, this has worked. If I go into rivets now, you can see that they're there. Now you'll also notice that there's a small asterisk above rivets, and what that means is at this point it's telling me that this is a change that I've not yet saved. So if I go to File, Save, you'll notice that goes away because now this is saved. It's just alerting me that this hasn't been made permanent yet. So let's make another one. I'm going to have a catalogue for my cable objects. So I'm going to make cable. I'm going to go to all, and I'm going to drag those into my cable. In fact, actually, what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to press plus again, and within cable, I can create some little subcategories. So I'm going to call this cable types, and I'm going to create another one called connectors. So they're really easy to find. I'm going to go into all. I want that, it's my only connector, but I'll make some more. And then I want 1, 2, 3 of my cable types to go into cable types. And again, if I click on cable, I'll see all of them. If I go to cable types, I'll just see those, and connectors there. I've still got my rivets at the bottom, and I can still click all to see everything. And I've still got those asterisks there because I haven't saved it. So File, Save, and we've got that sorted. So this will permanently work in all of my other files. Now I've got a new window here, and I just want to talk about bringing objects in. There's a couple of tricks to this that you should be aware of, or options at least. So I'm just going to bring up my asset browser. So Shift F1 twice. I need to go from current file to user library, and I've got all my options here. So some things about bringing in different objects. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring in this connector, and all you do is you just drag it in, and you'll notice that I get some options here as I move around this object that I've left in here intentionally, and this will actually change the orientation of your object that you're bringing in. For example, if I do it there, it's going to be the correct way up. If I bring it in on the side, it will align to that side. A really, really quick trick that's going to help us. Just something to note on this, if I bring in N, you can see here that we've got 0 rotation. Here we have got a rotation on this, so it is still registering that it should be this way up, but it's being rotated around. So you've got to be careful with that. If you want to keep that permanently, you'll need to do the standard thing of Control and A and apply rotation. So just something to be aware of. The next thing we need to talk about, and possibly the most important and potentially useful, is this option menu here, which determines how, as it says in the box, the assets will be imported. Now I'm just going to delete these two out, and we're just going to do a demonstration of this. So at the moment we had this on reuse data, but it wasn't doing anything with it because we hadn't used an append. So I'm going to bring in an append here. I'm going to bring in one more here on the top, and then I'm going to go down to append reuse data and bring one in on the side. Now that hasn't meant anything at this point until we have a little bit of a better look at this window. So let's go in here. So this was the one that we brought in originally just with append, and if I go into edit mode, you can see I can edit things as I want. For example, I could make this face longer and it doesn't have any effect on anything else. But we brought this one in as an append. Notice this one was the second one we brought in, and then we brought this one in as an append reuse data. And what that means now is if I go into vertex mode, you will see that these two are connected. If I do the same thing here of select a face and G and Z, it will affect both of them because this second version here has connected to our original one that was just as an append. So whenever we reuse data, what that means is that it will reuse the data of the last appended object that you brought in without reuse data as an option. So effectively it creates linked items where if you affect one, you'll affect the other, which means that if I want to do something, for example, I decide that this needs some more detail to it, I could bring in an edge loop, Control B, and I'm just going to use hard ops to inset that. And we've got this being done to both objects. So really, really useful. Now the last one is link, and I will probably never ever use that. It's just asking for trouble, but I will talk about what it does. When you bring in a linked object, what that does is firstly, it links it to the original item, which is slightly problematic in terms of the way that it's going to bring everything in. And you'll notice that I can't move this around because it is linked to where that was once placed in our original document. The other thing that's important is that this, if I change my original asset browser library, so if I came back in here and changed this, it would change it on this file as well. For me, that just seems like something that's going to cause problems. I don't want to change an asset in my asset library and then it affect all the files that it's ever been in previously. For me, the append and the append link data is all I really want. This is just going to cause an issue. So I'll probably be leaving the link alone and just be using the append and append data. Before I finish, I will just mention that this asset library is available for other things as well. For example, you can use it for poses that you've rigged, so you can bring that in, change things around really quickly. You can also use it for materials. For people doing CG work, that's probably going to be really useful, and it's done and navigated through in exactly the same way. And you can recreate your subcatalogs. For example, you might have metallic materials, non-metallic materials, and so on. But all in all, just a really quick way of navigating and bringing items that you use regularly into Blender files, something that's going to save me a massive amount of time. And I think as I build up this library, this is going to be really, really useful, and hopefully you'll find it useful as well.